Chapter 6. Expedition Fever. I needed a letter. I spent the weekend sneaking by mailboxes and swiping whatever I could find inside. It was no good, though. The types of houses whose mailboxes might contain what I was looking for were locked behind high copper gates or guarded by snooty doormen. If only I could have gotten close, I could have taken what I needed. The city was certainly distracted enough that no one would have noticed. All of Anlung had caught expedition fever. Old grandmother Noom had been wrong about us going to war, but she had been right about the hammers. Even all the way to the fens, you could hear them clanging in the harbor as they converted the kingdom's warships to vessels of exploration. Though it was the weekend, when businesses should be closed, door chimes jingled non-stop as messengers delivered royal orders for this or that. Bankers gleefully drew up loans, and accountants even more gleefully calculated the taxes. Everyone was in a rush, hurrying to get the ships ready and loaded in 2 weeks, in time for the Queen's birthday, the day she'd send her ships out across the globe. Time was running out for me, too. Sweat soaked the back of my shirt as I tromped through the city, searching for a mailbox I hadn't tried yet. The August heat had arrived overnight, evaporating all the rain that had seeped into the ground during the previous months, making the streets steam like boiled prawns. Mud was home when I got there Sunday night. "Did you find one?" he asked before I could even get through the door. "Not yet," I grumbled, heading straight to my mat in the corner of the room. "It's all right. You will," he said with forced cheerfulness. "If you need more time, just say the word. Catfish is itching to go, but he can wait a little longer." I flopped onto my mat without a reply. Mud scooted a chair closer. He cleared his throat. "Listen, Cy, I know you don't like doing this. I don't like asking you to do it. But this won't be like other times. It's enough money to make a difference. With 400 leks, we could move out of here. We could get a nice place." He smiled a half smile. "Your birthday's coming soon." I looked up at him, and his smile spread to his eyes, crinkling them at the corners. "Don't you worry, I didn't forget. You'll be 13 this year. With this kind of money, I could get you a lineal." I felt my eyebrows lift. "That's right," he went on. "And I wouldn't get one link either. I'd get you a whole bracelet. I know a guy. He makes them in his blacksmith shop, and they look perfectly real. He even does the royal stamp and everything." I dug my fingers into my mat. Of course Mud knew a guy. The punishment for buying a fake lineal was prison, but that didn't bother him. What was I expecting? That he'd save up for a real one? Take me downtown to the Hall of Records to get it stamped by the Lineage Council? They'd probably laugh in our faces anyway. "I don't want a lineal," I said. Mud's face fell, leaving only the scrap of a smile on his lips. "I know. They're stupid. I hate 'em. But still every kid in Mancon needs one if they're gonna get ahead." "I don't need a lineal," I spat. I knew I should hold my tongue, but I was fuming, from my frustration, from the heat, from our tiny cramped room. "I won't need one because I plan on being a low-life con, just like my father." Mud shot to his feet, fists tight at his side. I stayed exactly where I was. I wasn't afraid of him. I'd seen him get in fights before, but I knew he would never lay a finger on me. Every muscle in his body tensed, then sagged again. He rubbed his leg, and his face became a stony block I couldn't read. "I know what you think of me, Cy. You think you're so much better than me. Well, maybe you're right, but I'm still a part of everything you are, like it or not." He limped to the door. The walls of the room shook when he slammed it behind him. I balled my hands and pressed them to my temples. I was so angry, my eyes were blurry. I hated our horrid, stinking room. I hated slimy Catfish. I hated Mud and his never-ending crooked plans. I had to get out of there. If I stayed, there would always be a new scheme, and I would always get dragged down into it. Even if Mud and Catfish got lucky and one of their cons worked, it wouldn't last. We could live in a palace, and there would always be something rotting in the corner. I would finish this job, and then I'd be out. I shut my eyes and let out a long, slow breath. I had spent the weekend looking for a letter from a stranger to copy, but it wasn't working. Maybe I had known all along that it wouldn't work, and I just didn't want to admit that I only had one real option. If I was going to forge a letter, there was one place to get it. I would have to go to the shop.